Word for a plan that has not been performed because of some issues. For example, they devised a potential method to solve the problem, but due to timing issues it became insert word. A noun or an adjective, or even a phrase, describing this would work. This word would focus on a good plan that was never performed or was incomplete, and not a plan that was attempted but failed and did horribly. Issues can refer to budget and timing issues, but one would still want the plan as it should work. Therefore it would be used in a case where it was temporarily changed.
They devised a potential method to solve the problem, but due to timing issues it was shelved. Shelve, v. Decide not to proceed with a project or plan, either temporarily or permanently. Plans to reopen the school have been shelved. Lexico. To put off or aside. Shelve a project. If someone shelves a plan or project, they decide not to continue with it, either for a while or permanently. Collins. Fortune seemed thus about to crown Davier's laborious and successful trials, but before his appointed hour of embarkation arrived, cries of Vive la République were ringing throughout the French islands, and the new process was shelved. Charles Locke et al. Sugar, a handbook for planters and refiners, 1888. Subsequently, with my encouragement, Elsevier developed a similar idea for a magazine/journal devoted to process chemistry in the early 1990s, and even though the market survey looked good, the project was again shelved. A.J. Blacker and M.T. Williams, Pharmaceutical Process Development. The scheme was not rejected outright. After a lengthy discussion, during which the councillors asked about alternative locations, the possibility of renovating the present hall, and the cost, it was decided that further consideration was needed. Eventually the plan was shelved until the ratepayers showed some interest, which they seem not to have done. Dorothy Mindenhall, Unbuilt Victoria. The detailed explanation demonstrates that Wells found himself in trouble with Heart of Darkness not because his vision of racer relations was too progressive or his notion of narrative too experimental, but because he refused to work with the economic conventions of classical Hollywood filmmaking. Rucco eventually had to cover the $160,000 Wells had already spent on the film and shelve the entire project. Marguerite Rippey, Orson Welles and the Unfinished Co-projects.
They devised a potential method to solve the problem, but due to timing issues it became infeasible. Infeasible, adjective. Not possible to do easily or conveniently, impracticable. Oxford. This puts emphasis on the fact that plan is not practically possible, and implies that it was not executed as a result. They devised a potential method to solve the problem, but due to timing issues it became unworkable. Dictionary.com. Unworkable, adjective not practicable or feasible.
You could use either abeyance or abeyant, although the former tends to be used more often. Thus you could say, they devised a potential method to solve the problem, but due to timing issues it was held in abeyance. They devised a potential method to solve the problem, but due to timing issues it became abeyant. Vocabulary.com defines abeyant as inactive but capable of becoming active. The wild romanticist, the lover of the strange and the lurid and the grotesque who created the symphonique fantastique, never, perhaps, became entirely abeyant. And Lexico defines abeyance thus: a state of temporary disuse or suspension. Matters were held in abeyance pending further inquiries.
These two don't exactly have the good plan aspect, but, moot or null. One not certain, argued about but not possible for people to Provia says that they should have foreseen the accident, but that point is moot. Equals debatable to us, not worth talking about, no longer important or worth discussing. Court ruled that the issue is now moot because the people involved in the dispute have died. I think they were wrong, but the point is moot. Their decision has been made and it can't be changed now. Null. 2 amounting to nothing, nilth null uselessness of the wireless transmitter that lacks a receiving station, Fred Magellani. And from moot, obsolete also seems like it would fit. 1 no longer used because something newer exists. Obsolete, equals outdated, computer system was made/rendered obsolete by their invention. Replaced by something new or obsolete. Mills and factories too no longer used by anyone. An obsolete word. Definitions are from the Merriam-Webster Dictionary.
Fuel bestrålbegær, basenservice farting.